All right, well, good morning, everyone. I'm Lisa Barra. I'm the Public Affairs Advisor for Phillips 66. Thank you for being here this morning. We're very excited about this event. Just a couple of housekeeping things. If you could put your phones on silent, that would be greatly appreciative. Also, the restrooms are across from the elevators. If anyone needs it, there's also a cooler out there with some waters. We take safety very seriously here, so if there is a fire drill or a fire alarm, we're going to proceed down this two staircases, one by the elevators, and then this exit door, there's another stairwell. We will proceed outside to a muster station, and then we'll do an accountability check. We're not planning for anything today, but I'd like everybody to know what we do in the event that we have a fire alarm. So without further ado, let's get our programs kicked off. I'd like to invite Don Suzanin. He is the VP for Bayway and for Refinery, Phillips 66. Thanks, Don.
Hello and welcome. As Lisa said, my name is Don Suzanin. I'm the Vice President here at the Bayway Refinery, Phillips 66 facility. And I would like to personally welcome you to our refinery and the broader Bayway Industrial Complex. I would also like to thank the New Jersey Business and Industry Association and the New Jersey Institute of Technology for their efforts in facilitating and leading the study that they'll be presenting today. And within that study, on behalf of the complex, all the companies involved, Phillips 66, Infinium, Linden Cogeneration, Nexpara, and Sunoco, thank you all for joining today's event. Thanks as well to our industry partners, AFPM, API, for supporting today's event. I would also like to recognize some of our elected officials who have taken time out of their busy days to come out here today for this event. Congressman Kane, if you'd put your hand up so people can know who you are as I call people out. Assemblyman Flynn. I believe Assemblyman Spearman's en route. I'd like to thank him when he shows up. Assemblyman Bergen. As well, our local mayor here in Linden, Mayor Armistead, who I think is also en route, and would like to thank him for his support. Councilman Strano, who is here today. And a broader thanks to their staff who is in attendance for coordinating, including Jess Cohen, if you're here, who is representing the Senate President Scutari. He had some scheduling conflicts, but we appreciate all his support as well. I'm proud to represent this industry and highlight its contributions to New Jersey and the broader region. The Bayway Industrial Complex, for those who are less familiar, has been a center for energy and chemical production for over 116 years in this footprint. Over time, it has developed into a vital economic driver for both New Jersey and the broader Northeast region. The interdependency is central to the complex maintaining reliable operations and delivering significant economic benefit to the state and to the county and to the region. While our focus today is on the significant economic benefits of the complex, these achievements are only possible by the men and women who work within these companies and within the facility and their 24/7 dedication to the jobs that they have committed to. They're not only your neighbors, they're your friends, they're your family and your extended family. And we need to be aware of where they work and what they do for our communities. Safe operations, both inside and outside the fence line, are paramount within our companies and within our facilities. Having grown up near a refinery, several of them actually, used to be able to look out my bedroom window and see the equipment inside the facility. I live that close. I understand the importance of being a good community partner. which we continually strive for and strengthen with our dedicated community advisory panel. Some who are in attendance today, if you could raise your hands, we want to thank you as well. So at this time, I would like to invite Michelle Sakurka. She's the president and CEO of the New Jersey Business and Industry Association, and she'll present the key findings from the study. Michelle?
What a great day this is. Good morning. I am Michelle Sakurka. I proudly serve as the president and CEO of the New Jersey Business and Industry Association. And I say that proudly because especially on a day like today, when we put our boots on the ground, and literally I am wearing boots today, when we put our boots on the ground each and every day, we advocate tirelessly for an affordable and regionally competitive business climate here in the state of New Jersey. And what we don't see enough of are the good news stories like the one we're going to tell today. The stories of the job creators and those that make a difference. And Don did such a great job of starting with the why, but I'm going to emphasize that in just a minute. I want to thank the dignitaries, the employees, the employers, and the media who are joining us here today. Thank you. It's incredibly important that you are here this morning, and today is just the start of this message. Now we take this message and let it resonate from here. And I'd like to introduce our research partner guests from NJIT, Eugene Deese, who's the Executive Director for the Institutional Effectiveness Office of Institutional Effectiveness at NJIT. Thank you for your partnership, Gene, and your great team at NJIT. Can't emphasize enough the great work that NJIT performs each and every day. And I see on perfect timing, Michael, it's as though it was on cue. Also joining us is the president of NJII, the Innovation Institute, which is an offshoot from NJIT, Michael Johnson, president. Please give a wave in the back. Thank you. These are our public institutions doing great work to support our job creators across the state of New Jersey. So we're here today to present the results of an economic impact analysis that was conducted by NJBIA with our research partner at NJIT of the companies that were presented: Phillips 66, Infinium, Nextpara, Linden Cogeneration, and Sunoco, all co-located at this amazing facility where we find ourselves today. And the why, people say, well, why do this? Why do we need to tell this story today? And Don did a great job, most importantly, about the people. But for starters, consider also the innovation that takes place here each and every day. At NJBIA, we have a vision, right? We're a typical organization: vision, mission, values, all that great stuff, right? But at the top's the vision, and the vision is something that's bigger than just us alone as an organization. The vision is that New Jersey reclaims its stature as the innovation state. What a great example that is as we stand here today. We want to be known as the innovation state, and the innovation going on here: safe refining, chemical manufacturing, power generation, environmental services, and fuel logistics. It doesn't get any better than that, and it happens right here where we stand today. But also significantly important, the economic significance of this complex isn't often enough part of the discussion, and certainly the positive impacts of it. When policies are presented, the important research and data that resonates and comes and generates from a project like this is not on the table. And we don't take into consideration the additional burdens or challenges for these job creators and the workforce that they support each and every day. And that's the most important part of today, is to make sure that business is at the center of every discussion that takes place on policy and the impact that it has, positively and most challenging, on the workforce that these job creators employ each and every day. So because of that, we take this step today to realize the incredible asset that this facility is at the Bayway complex. It is a job-creating economic development juggernaut, and let me tell you why. The analysis done by NJIT, they used an output model called IMPLAN. And what IMPLAN does is it takes certain factors, inputs, right? And as a result of that, it tells not just the direct impact of what goes on here, and by direct, I mean things at the facility: employment, payroll, materials, capital investment, direct impact. No, it takes another step. It goes further to the indirect effects. That is the supply chain response, the contractors, the vendors, the service providers, and how the operations here are expanded through those efforts. It goes one more step to the induced effects, which is the household spending by the workforce whose income is supported by the facility. And when we add all that together, we have total impact, the sum of all those things added together. So that's what I want to share right now is some of those top level findings, which I think you will find absolutely significant. There is a one-pager on your chairs today. That's a nice summary of what I'll touch upon. And then I'll tell you in a little bit where you can find the full report. So the industrial complex is a substantial contributor to our overall economy, generating $21.3 billion in total statewide output, nearly $7 billion of the state's gross state product. Just think about these numbers. That's nearly 1% of New Jersey's entire state economy. Let that settle for a minute. That's right. We are celebrating today, so let's do some cheering, right? The complex supports 12,091 jobs statewide, which generates $1.2 billion in labor income annually. Over 12,000 jobs and $1.2 billion in labor income annually. The complex is associated with approximately $1.2 billion annually in federal, state, and local tax revenues for 2023, including $507 million in state and local taxes. Now, that recurring revenue stream makes the site relevant and significant in fiscal planning for the state because any change to the operations will affect that number that will impact New Jersey's economy directly, and therefore should be at the center of the discussion when we talk about public budgets at each level of government. Let's talk about capital investment. In 2023, the companies at this site invested approximately $124 million in capital projects, including facility upgrades, environmental technologies such as emissions recovery, and hydrogen co-firing. These investments contribute to construction and supplier activity in the short term while shaping the longer-term technology adoption and regulatory compliance that the state needs. The study also finds the complex provides more than half of New Jersey's refining capacity and plays a role in fuel supply for the broader Northeast corridor. So not just New Jersey, but the Northeast corridor as well. So now we talk about their dependence on pipelines, energy systems, and transportation infrastructure, which underscores the importance of maintaining resilient infrastructure to support the state and our regional energy needs. This is significant at a time that we're talking about our crisis in energy here in the state of New Jersey, and what are some of the real solutions in order to ensure accessibility and affordability. These are just some of the top line data points among much more that can be found in our 28-page report. Can be found at njbia.org/Bayway report. And you'll notice on your one-pager at the bottom here is a QR code. So if you put your phone camera on the QR code and pop up, it'll take you right to the report, or you can go onto our website where that I gave you. And that report will be housed there for the future to come so that the press has a resource, so that the public has a resource, and most importantly, that our policymakers has a resource. And you can rest assured that NJBIA, where we are in the halls of the State House each and every day, will have a copy of that report, its top line results, to remind our policymakers every day of the impact of what happens here in Linden. This information is critical to decision making at all levels of government, and we want to ensure that the message is just started today. And I said earlier, we're excited about the tale and how we continue to tell this story going forward. So thank you for the opportunity to present that top line. As you can see, we're incredibly proud to shine a light on Bayway today. This is the best part of what we do at NJBIA, telling the good news story. Thank you for the opportunity. I want to thank the companies for participating and all of you being here today to be a part of this. And with that, I'll turn it back to Lisa.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Don. I'd like to invite up Congressman Tom Kean, who's serving his second term in Congress, representing New Jersey's 7th Congressional District, where we are right now. Congressman Kean serves on the Energy and Commerce Committee and the House Foreign Affairs Committee. And as a representative for more than 775,000 New Jersey residents, he is focused on keeping costs low for families, improving access to care, supporting a robust and reliable infrastructure, boosting innovation in home, and helping students reach their top potential. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Congressman Tom Kean to the podium.
Good morning. It's great to be with you. It's great to be back here at this facility. This, as you know, is right in the center of the energy infrastructure of the region, and it's right in the 7th Congressional District. So it's an important anchor for business and the economy throughout this region and throughout the United States. And today's economic impact analysis by NJBIA and NJIT confirms what we already know to be true, that this facility is a massive economic driver for our state and for our economy. It's everywhere, and everybody here understands that we're facing the greatest energy demand in generations. We need energy, we need more of it to power our homes, our businesses, and our factories. We also need it to drive our next wave of innovation so that the United States can lead the world in AI, advanced computing, and the next generation manufacturing. This report makes clear that facilities like Bayway are critical to keeping this New Jersey at the forefront of innovation. This site supports thousands of jobs. It fuels research and development for tomorrow's energy technologies and provides dependable, balanced baseload power that we urgently need. In Congress, I'm honored to serve on the Energy and Commerce Committee. There, we're working every day on policies to boost our economy, to advance an all of the above energy strategy, and bring more dependable, affordable baseload power online to power our innovators and to smooth the complex supply chains that our economy relies on. This includes fighting to reduce burdensome regulations that hurt American manufacturing. This year, my colleagues and I have been laser focused on advancing pro-growth, pro-business agenda. Through policies like the working family tax cuts, which we advanced this past summer, we delivered the largest tax cut in history while cutting red tape and unleashing American energy. Going forward, we need to bring more energy online, and we need to do it so in a smart and in an efficient way. We must learn from the unsuccessful policies of the past that have made it more difficult for critical facilities like this one to operate in our state and that have driven up energy prices for consumers. Instead, we should build on the success that we are celebrating today in Linden and should work together on policies that expand economic opportunity, advance innovation, and strengthen our nation's energy security. Bayway is a critical part of that equation, and I stand ready to build on this progress and partner with all of you here today to show the nation that New Jersey can and will lead on smart, forward-thinking policies that lower costs for families and build a stronger, more secure energy future. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. Our next speaker is Assemblywoman Vicki Flynn, who well represents constituents in Legislative District 13, which includes 16 towns in Monmouth County. One of the reasons we wanted the Assemblywoman here today is so many of our employees who work at this complex reside in her district, including me. Assemblywoman Flynn was first elected to the Assembly in 2021 and obviously was just re-elected 12 days ago, congratulations, along with Assemblymate Jerry Scheffenberger. Assemblyman Flynn has proven to be a fierce advocate on issues related to education, women's health, public safety, and pandemic recovery. But she also has been a strong representative for business and the economy in New Jersey. So I'm really thrilled to introduce Assemblywoman Vicki Flynn to the podium.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I didn't wear the heels. I said that earlier. I'm at a disadvantage today, but it's Friday, so to be casual, no heels. It's a pleasure to be here. This is truly a landmark location in New Jersey. I was just saying, I originally grew up in North Jersey, and when we used to pass here going down the shore, it was like, oh my God, we're almost there. We're almost at the shore. So it's really a privilege to be here today. And also it's a privilege to represent that so many members who live in Monmouth County and District 13 work here. So I want to make sure that they know that I'm one of the many legislators, as long as also with Brian Bergen too. We're fighting for you down in Trenton to make sure that operations like here at Bayview have a future, have a strong future. We understand not only the historical significance, but the fact that what you have here is what's going to bring us into the future safely, efficiently, and it's really necessary that we do everything we can to stick up for you. So I'm here on behalf of myself, Jerry Schauffenberger, Declan O'Scanlan, your senator, we're going to make sure that whatever goes down on in Trenton, we're going to protect Bayview from any restrictions, any regulations that would constrict the work you're doing. I want to thank NJIT and BIA to put together that report. It is really going to be that guiding principle that takes us forward in making those arguments that we need to make sure that this type of facility does have a long future. Another 116 years would be great. And so we're going to protect that future by using that report, by looking at your findings, which I hope no one thought I was rude by looking down. I was reviewing it, just to make sure that I could see all this. And I think it was like almost 60% of the energy. It's a high percentage of the energy coming out of here that we need to make sure to preserve, if not grow and enhance. And I finally want to thank the facility for your dedication to safety and making sure that the workers in District 13 are safe here, that they are building good futures for their families. Because not like we look at the numbers, we look at that the economic output that comes from these high-paying jobs. But what it really does is does create a future for these families, for their kids to go on to college, to have other jobs like that. And we need to do everything we can to make sure that those jobs are protected, preserved, and that there's a future, a bright future for New Jersey. And it starts with your report. You're right, Michelle. I'm always like having a report, holding on to it, having those guideposts are really important. So thank you for that hard work. I think that gives us a great starting point to starting off our work in January under a new term. So thank you for having me here. And again, I want to just say it's a privilege to represent so many workers who work right here in Linden. So thank you.
Thank you, Assemblywoman. Our next speaker is Mayor Armstead. Mayor Derek Armstead has served as mayor of Linden since 2014, bringing decades of public service and community leadership to the role. A lifelong Linden resident, his family has lived here for nearly 100 years. Before becoming mayor, he represented the 4th Ward on the City Council for over 20 years, serving on numerous committees and advocating for fairness, education, youth programs. Passionate about giving back, he mentors displaced youth, supports local sports through Linden Pop Warner, and sponsors the Armstead Scholarship Program to invest in students' futures. Guided by family values, he is here today, and we're really thrilled to introduce Mayor Armstead to come speak. Thank you.
The first thing I want to do, good morning, everybody. The first thing I want to do is thank Michelle, because my staff wrote this long speech with a whole lot of details about the economic impact, and I said, I don't have to go through that now because you did a great job. As mentioned, my family came to Linden. My grandfather came here in 1927, so we've been here for close to 100 years. And as fate would have it, my grandfather wound up on Wood Avenue. He came here looking for work, and he wound up at DuPont. And a couple months later, he sent for my grandmother and his 2 oldest daughters, and we've been here ever since. To say this refinery and industry in this town has been good to us is an understatement. Because again, my grandfather's first job was at DuPont, and my grandmother had the foresight and the wisdom, after being here for a couple of years, to buy another piece of property. And my grandfather was a little leery about buying the property, but she mentioned to him, we're right at the mouth of a refinery. Don't you see all these people coming here looking to rent rooms? So she bought a piece of property next door, and she rented all the rooms out, him and her. And at some point, they wound up owning almost the whole block in the 1800 block of Southwood Avenue. So the industry has been very good to us in this town. My grandfather, doing odd jobs, wound up working for, doing some landscaping work for a gentleman, one of the vice presidents, I guess would have been Standard Oil back then. It's such a long time ago. And he mentioned to him that they needed a place for a church. They needed property for a church. And to my grandfather's amazement, the next day he called him and he said, hey, I want to see you. And he gave him a deed to some property on East 14th Street. And to this day, Mount Moriah. This is a church that my grandmother and grandfather founded on East 14th Street. It's still there. So again, to say that this industry has been good to me is an understatement. My first real job, Cambridge Contracting on the corner of 21st Street and Southwood Avenue. they had contracts here with Exxon, and my father was a mailman there, so somehow him and the owner had a good relationship. And at 16 years old, I found myself in a refinery working here, right here. And you'll find very few mayors who know what the isomerization unit is. And back then it was the 6 pipe stills, but I understand you got 7 now. Okay, so I'm no stranger to the oil refinery, and it's been very good to me. My friends couldn't believe how much money I was making at 16 years old. It's a very good job I had here. So I'm very thankful for what this refinery has done and what the industry in this town has done for me and my family and this town. You know, and there's been a lot of concern about the oil industry going away. Well, that's not going to happen. If you shut down every combustible engine in the world, you're still going to need oil, because there's so many other byproducts that oil is used for. And it'll be incumbent upon, and I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir here, upon the oil industry to make sure that they leverage their finances into new industries. And I'm sure you're doing that. I'm probably preaching to the choir again. I'm sure that all the emerging technologies, you guys have your hands in it, you're investing in it. So when we do pair back with the combustible engines, there'll be something else. So I say, long live oil, long live Linden. And again, we are one family in one town who has benefited tremendously from this industry. And I thank you for being here. If you have any problems, you call me. I tell everybody, Superman's got nothing on me. I'm just a phone call away. And we'll be here to help, because we believe in the industry in this town. And at one time, I always speak of the past, and I'm a child of the 60s. I remember all hell was breaking out everywhere in the world. I mean, you turn on the TV, you saw all kinds of craziness. Right here in Linden, you could drop a pin. There wasn't one problem in this town. I recall my father saying to me, what, are we going to fight tonight and go to work with each other tomorrow morning? Because in Linden, everybody had a job. In fact, if you didn't have a job, it's because you didn't want to work. So it's incumbent upon us to make sure that industries like Phillips 66, any type of industrial complexes that we have in town, survive. And as a mayor, I know the importance of it, and I will make sure that we continue to be a city that supports industry, because when you support industry, you're supporting families. And guess what? I have a family, and we're still here as a result of this great industry. So thank you all for having me, and keep up the good work, Phillips 66. Look forward to continue working with you.
Thank you, Mayor Armstead. So our next speaker is Assemblyman William Spearman. We are thrilled that he could be here with us on a very busy day for him today. Coming all the way up from New Jersey's 5th District, representing Camden and Gloucester counties. I hope I said that correctly. Assemblyman Spearman has served in the Assembly since 2018 and won re-election last week. Congratulations. What makes his appearance particularly special is he is the chair of the Assembly of Commerce and Economic Development Committee in Trenton. He knows the importance of a good economy drivers in our neighborhoods and in our region. He also has a great collaborative reputation, someone who you can work with together to identify any issues to solve them. So please welcome Assemblyman William Spearman. Thank you.
Good morning. Let's talk about jobs and money. That's why we're here today. We're here to talk about supporting this facility because they provide jobs and money. Without facilities like this providing good jobs, I came in just in time to hear the mayor talking about how he used to work here and how he was making a pretty good salary. And that's what it's about. Let's face it. Business, there's a symbiotic relationship between government, the community, and businesses. Many times people want to try and say there's a conflict between the community and business, but that's not really the way it is. Business needs workers. They need government to provide good what's the word I'm looking for? Less regulation, perhaps. And they need government to kind of put together the guidelines that protect the businesses and the community. And that's why we're here today to talk about supporting this facility as they continue to provide thousands of jobs for this community and also provide gas for our cars. Because let's face it, as I think the mayor said, we are a long way from being all electric. There's a number of things that have to happen first, which means we still need this industry. We need it to be strong. And that's why I'm here, to provide support for the industry and the communities that it supports. It's a pleasure to be here. I'll be here afterwards if you have any questions for me, or if you have any suggestions for legislation. I'm always open for new legislation. Now, where have you heard government say that before? Always open for new legislation. No, seriously though, I'm always open for ideas on how to make it easier for you to do business, whatever your business is. Thank you for your time.
Thank you to all our distinguished speakers. We really appreciate you being here. So now I'm just going to share a little bit about my personal story. I haven't accepted the fact that I need reading glasses. If you notice, I keep putting the paper closer and closer to my face. So I grew up in Brooklyn, and I joined the company in April of 1999, 3 years after graduating high school, as an administrative assistant. This was an incredible opportunity for me because college wasn't an option due to my parents' significant financial constraints. The career and the life that this complex has provided me is something I never imagined on my first day. Back then, I didn't know much about the energy business. I was simply happy to have health insurance and a consistent paycheck. Over the years, I've held several administrative roles, the last one supporting our VP, Don Suzanin. And last year, I had the absolute privilege of being promoted to our public affairs advisor. I never imagined that opportunity at 21 years old when I was hired. This company has given me such a rewarding career, not just in terms of titles or pay, but in growth, in purpose, and confidence. Every role I've held taught me something new and prepared me for the next step. I've had mentors who believed in me, leaders who challenged me, and a team that supported me through every transition. Phillips 66 didn't just give me a job. It gave me a platform to learn, to contribute, and to make an impact. That sense of belonging and development is something I value deeply. Personally, after spending most of my adult life as a renter, I was able to buy my first home 10 years ago, a milestone that represented stability and independence. That achievement wasn't just about owning property. It was about realizing a dream I never thought was possible when I was hired all those years ago. Beyond that, Phillips 66 has given me the ability to help my family in meaningful ways, especially my parents who are now on fixed incomes. Being able to help them and give back for all they sacrificed for me is something I truly value. These opportunities have transformed not only my career, but my life. And they remind me every day of the power and the impact this complex has on individuals like me. I understand the benefits and how impactful this industrial complex is for New Jersey. But for me, just a girl from Brooklyn, its impact goes far beyond numbers. It has provided me with opportunities and shaped my life in ways I could never imagine. Thank you. So now I'd like to invite my friend and colleague, Brian McCarthy, to share his story. Brian, why are you sitting all the way in the back?
Thanks, Lisa. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. I'm Brian McCarthy. I'm a business team leader here at the Refinery for our oil movements and waterfront facility. I'd like to share a bit about my opportunities that I had here at Bayway. So I'd like to start going back to the beginning. I was a part-time college student. I had recently been laid off, and I was looking for a job while I finished that semester out. And my father, who worked at the facility at Infinium, a different company, he told me about a job posting at the Bayway Refinery. So I applied to that job. That job required no experience, no college education. They provided all of the training needed for me to start that job in an apprenticeship program. So I started that job through the years. I've been here 20 years now. I've had a lot of opportunities, worked many different roles. And while working here, I did enjoy a lot of the career development and leadership training they've given me. And some of the things that I enjoyed the most was the opportunity to visit career fairs. And in those career fairs, I was given the opportunity to interview new employees who were given the same opportunity that I was. So they were able to apply with no higher education or experience needed. We provide that training here. And then it's always fun to see individuals that start out just like me, and then I get to mentor them, train them, and they get to move up through the different programs here that we have and have the same opportunity. Another thing that I enjoy here is we have a strong community outreach. So when I started here, I was a young college student. We have employee networks at this site, and those employee networks do a lot of community outreach. That's their goal. So they taught me about community service and helping the community. So through that, I've learned a lot. Some of the things that I've enjoyed have been going to summer camps in the area, and doing some STEM programs, going to career fairs in the area, and it really makes me feel good about giving back to the community that gave back to me when I was so young and looking for an opportunity. So in closing, Bayway Refinery has given me a career I'm proud of, taught me about providing service to others, and has provided for my family for over 20 years. Many of the lessons that I've learned here, I carry into my personal life, inspiring others to take pride in their work and sharing the importance of community service. So thank you again for coming today, and thank you for listening to my story.
Thank you, Brian. Our last speaker for today's event, I would like to invite up Mike Junta. Mike is the owner of Bayway Catering and the operator of our Bayway Refinery cafeteria. Mike?
What do I say? Wow. You know what? I'm going to start off with a little bit about me, and I want to thank Lisa for 20 years of friendship. You know, that's what the refinery does for you. So somewhere about 2000, I became a fireman in Newark, and been in business all my life. And what happens when fireman, you got a lot of time on your hands, right? So we work 24 hours on, 3 days off. So I'm always looking for another opportunity. And my cousin owned a garbage company around the corner in Linden, the Manaluna transfer station. He was transporting garbage out of there. And I was working with him part-time, and we kept passing this diner over on Wood Avenue and 21st Street. And it was run down and just, I don't know, there was no real good place to eat. You know, I grew up in diners, you know, I'm a product of the 70s and 80s, and after you went to your dance clubs and, you know, whatever, you went to a diner afterwards, them 24-hour diners. And they were starting to fade out a little bit, right? So we had this vision, and him and I bought this property together, and we rehabbed it back to like the style of the 50s. And we purchased that in 2005. And took us about 8 or 9 months, and people were watching, and I knew nothing about Linden Refinery, and except that when I went down the Turnpike, because I was from Newark, and we're going down the shore, and we seen the smokestacks, and then the Christmas tree during Christmas time with the lights, and that's all I really knew about it, you know. And then I didn't know there was a whole world. This is like a little city, you know. So we're rehabbing the diner, we get it open, and I know nothing about the food business. I'm a fireman from Newark and never went to culinary school, never worked in a restaurant, so why not? Let's open up a diner, right? And, you know, we did some areas, you know, we went around to different areas, see what the menu was, and we came out with 4 things: cheesesteak, hamburger, hot dog, you know, and a chicken sandwich. What, you know, how hard could that be? Unbeknownst to me, we got everybody passing us in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning to go to the refinery, right? So, again, not knowing nothing about the business, I opened up December 26th, the day after Christmas. And from that day on, it was nonstop. It was really nonstop. And this refinery, what it's done for not only me, my family, my kids, but for all my workers. I started out with 5 workers. here we are, fast forward almost 20 years later. I have 25 employees, 2 locations. We have a major catering company, but I'm gonna backdate a little bit. In April of '06, a producer calls me up, and I thought it was a scam. I thought I had to pay money. I had to, you're gonna be on TV, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. I didn't have no money to do that. I was a fireman self-funding this diner, and they shot a show at my diner in April '06. It aired November '06, and from then on, it just catapulted us. We were nationally known as the Bayway Diner. We were the pilot show on Triple D, that's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and it just really catapulted from there. But everything was centered around this complex, right? So we're gonna take it fast forward a little bit, and the executives used to come into the diner. Lisa, one of my first customers, came in there and was always coming in there. Remember, the diner only had 9 stools, so you had to turn them over real quick. And probably right before I sold the diner, we were doing about 450 covers in there, and mainly delivering into the refinery, because now at that time, they asked me if I had a lunch truck, because the company that had the cafeteria, their lunch truck broke down. And I'm the guy that never says no, and I said, yeah, I got a lunch truck. I didn't have no lunch truck. I really didn't. I made some phone calls, and there was a place where you could rent lunch trucks. So I jumped on a lunch truck, I trained a guy, I put the lunch truck in there. Now we're taking food from the diner, and we're bringing it into the refinery, and we're feeding numerous guys out in the field and women out in the field, feeding them. Doing that about 2 years. Fast forward a little bit, Lisa's still coming in, executives are coming in. We got executives, refinery managers coming to sit on a stool and eating a Monster Burger. It was all too much for me to comprehend. But what this complex has done, I'm not gonna take up too much of your time. She said I'm the last. I'm nervous as heck. I really am. We have some refreshments outside. And I want everybody to mingle and enjoy each other. So let me fast forward 2 years later. They asked me, do you want to bid on the cafeteria? I'm like, oh my God, where are we going here? I'm a diner, I got 5 employees, I'm still a full-time fireman, and now I'm gonna bid on a cafeteria and feed hundreds every day, breakfast and lunch. I said what it's done for me at Ford. My 2 children went to college. My son's got a master's degree. My daughter's in Gettysburg College playing soccer. All the opportunities, but I don't know if everybody realizes it's not just Bayway Catering now that has 25 employees, and I feed 25 families, and they come to work every day at 4:30 in the morning and feed another 300 people, because if you don't feed them, they're not working. I'm telling you right now, because we go through that a lot, But let's talk about the local businesses that I buy from. Ultimate Foods, right there in Linden, New Jersey. He has 50 employees. U.S. Foods, how many employees do they have? They just flew me out to to Las Vegas to this big food show out there, because I'm one of their biggest purveyors, and I buy a lot of food from them. We're here 5 days a week. We do a lot of catering for all the local companies in this area, all the different people that are in this refinery. And let me talk about a turnaround. They came to me and they're like, Mike, can you handle a turnaround? I don't even know what a turnaround is. Yeah, explain to me what a turnaround is. We're gonna bring in 2,000 people and you're gonna feed them and we're gonna make them work 24 hours a day, and we gotta get this oil refinery it's all about safety, right? They have regulations, and you gotta replace parts and stuff. And I learned about a turnaround, and for 10 years I've been doing turnarounds. Now, what are we doing? We're feeding 2,000 extra people. Them 2,000 people are staying in hotels in this area. You can't get a room when there's a turnaround. And they're flying in from all over the country. I have 4 lunch trucks that's running around the clock 7 days a week feeding people, right? So then you got to talk about how do we stock in the lunch trucks. There's commissary. They have 50 employees, So what this refinery does, and what it's done for me and my family, it's taken me so far. It really, it's taught me a lot. It's taught me about charity work. My friend Bernadette sitting in the back from St. Joseph's. And what we did was, every Friday, we would freeze whatever food we didn't use, and we would give it to the homeless shelter, St. Joseph's. And Refinery taught me that. And now I have a contract in Elizabeth, New Jersey. We feed all the homeless people, right? We go out there and we feed 150, 200 homeless people, and they bring out a trailer with showers and laundry, and then we do their laundry, you know? So. The one thing I'm really proud of, and what this refinery and this complex has taught me, is about service for our veterans. I started a nonprofit, and we just opened up a homeless shelter and a housing for veterans in Middletown, New Jersey. We just did that 2 weeks ago. We started in 2022, and again, remember I was Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and Guy Fieri, personal friend of mine, he's my mentor, and he flew in and we kicked off Feeding Our Heroes. And what we do is we travel around New Jersey feeding veterans and homeless, veterans and first responders. Remember, I'm a fireman still. My job has evolved into, I'm a union president now, I'm in charge of 500. And I learned that from the Teamsters early on in the refinery. I learned all this stuff in the refinery and all the different companies that I've dealt with. And as of today, from 2022, we just brought on Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield. They're funding us because I self-funded it for 2 years. Wegmans and also Acme Supermarket. I'm being noticed all over the country. I just got an email from a place in Georgia. They want to send us a check to help feed the veterans. You know, so I would not know anything about helping other people really if it wasn't for Bernadette and this refinery who taught me that this is the way we do it. You know, I'm being honest about that. And now it's like near and dear to my heart. Over the last 4 years or 3 years now, we fed over 5,000 veterans. And they deserve our help. And it's not just about the food, it's about the resources that we bring them, you know? So I can't say enough about this refinery. I can't say enough about my friend Don. You know, we've been through numerous refinery managers, and they move on to Houston or Oklahoma or whatever. But it's like a family here. It's a partnership, you know? And you know, at any time, they call us and we do whatever has to be done, you know, to feed all the workers, because again, I'll state it, if you don't feed your workers, they're not coming to work. They have to have a full belly. So listen, that's my story. I hope I helped out a little bit, and please join us for some refreshments and try Bayway catering outside the doors, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. He also left out that I'm probably his pickiest customer, so, and always have been. So once again, we'd like to thank everyone for being here, our distinguished speakers, the trade organizations. I'd also like to thank all our partner companies. You can see their logos on the balloons. We've all worked very hard to get to this point, to have this event. So we're really appreciative that you all came here. Please have refreshments and mingle and have a good afternoon. Thank you.